Suddenly the arm stopped moving, the gooey green mess stopped oozing, and the arm just laid there on the elevator floor. We all just stared at it, and after a few seconds Derek said to Corey, "Dude, you pick it up." "No way, man. Steven, you pick it up," he replied. "I'm not picking it up." "Ricky, you pick it up," Steven said. "I ain't touching that thing, it's gross," Ricky also protested. Guys, I interrupted. "Nobody pick it up, okay? Just leave it there. Let's get the hell out of here." Everyone nodded their heads in agreement as I extended my left hand to press the up button on the panel board of the elevator. Just as I was about to press it, though, the doorbell rang, which made us all jump. We grabbed each other in a group hug and screamed continuously, assuming it was Ed, the creature, coming in to kill us. I closed my eyes as I heard the elevator door start to open, and over our screams we heard the loud booming voice of Bob say, Boys, I thought you didn't roll like that," and then he laughed. Surprised, we all stopped screaming. I then opened my eyes as we all let go of each other, stepped back, brushed ourselves off, and did a "I'm cool" stance as we looked around. Just like that scene in the movie Grease, where Jeff Conway's character and John Travolta's character hugged after Kaneki asked Zuko to be his second at Thunder Road. You know what I'm talking about, right? "Boys, why are you screaming?" Bob asked, holding the door open. We all looked down in unison at the arm, which had now returned to human form, and the gooey green mess that had turned into blood on the elevator floor. Bob did the same, following our lead. "We thought you were that Edgar creature coming in to kill us," I replied. "Oh dear, not again," Bob remarked, picking up the arm. "I truly apologize for this, boys." "Edgar?" Bob yelled loudly. "Yes, sir," Edgar answered, almost immediately appearing out of nowhere and standing next to Bob in the doorway, missing his left arm. Pieces of flesh and veins dangled from what was left of it, where the door had cut it off, and blood was dripping everywhere. His pants and his shirt were still torn and hanging off his body, and we all quickly stepped backwards, slamming ourselves hard against the elevator wall and shaking nervously. "Easy, boys. He's not going to hurt you, are you, Edgar?" Bob asked him. "No, sir," Edgar replied. We all relaxed at that point. "Doesn't that hurt, dude?" Corey asked. "No," Edgar replied sharply. "It kind of tickles a little, though." "Why did you try and kill us, man? I thought you were our friend," I yelled. "It was nothing personal, guys. When I get like that, I just can't help myself," Edgar replied. "That was some messed up shit, man," Derek said aggressively. "Boys, I will deal with this situation now. I believe this belongs to you," Bob said harshly, handing Edgar his arm. "Yes, sir," he replied, like a kid being scolded by his father. "Now, Edgar," Bob started. "We talked about this. You must stop trying to eat our guests. It's bad for business. Now take your arm, reattach it, again, clean yourself up, then get a mop and a bucket with hot water and clean up your blood. After that, wait for me in my office." "Yes, sir," he replied once again and hung his head low. "Sorry, guys," he said, looking at us, then walked off down the long hallway. I felt kind of bad for him. Well, not that bad. After all, he did just try to kill us. "Now, boys," Bob said. "You are going to leave without saying goodbye. I'm hurt. I thought we had a special bond growing here." "Sorry, devil dude," Derek replied. "Yeah, man. Sorry," the rest of us whispered softly. "No worries, my dear fellows," Bob remarked, smiling, and got into the elevator with us. The door closed and Bob reached out to hit the up button, and as he did so, he said, "Please, hold on to the bar," and he laughed. We all grabbed the bars mounted to the walls and Bob hit the button. Immediately we were forced down hard to the floor as the elevator shot upwards like a rocket. Bob just stood there in the center of the space laughing. I'm not sure how much time passed, but it felt like an eternity before the elevator doorbell rang again, as it stopped abruptly, forcing us upwards, causing us to almost hit the ceiling. "Whoa, I think I'm going to be sick," Ricky said, covering his mouth. "Count backwards from 10 and you'll be fine," Stephen told him. "And here we are, back in your world, in the exact place I met you," Bob announced. "The police station?" Corey asked. "Not quite," Bob replied. The elevator door began to open, and I quickly hit the close door button on the panel. As it closed, I said, "Hold on there, Bob, we need to talk." "Now? You need to talk now?" Derek asked. "Yeah, man, now," I replied harshly. "And you all need to hear this." "I know what your big plan is, Bob," I said, in the same harsh tone, and he turned to look at me. "Really?" he responded devilishly. "Yeah, I left my glasses on an amp, so I went back to the studio to get them. As I opened the door, Edgar had turned into this hellish beast, recording commands for people to relinquish their souls and praise you, whilst Corey's vocal tape played backwards. You're using us to recruit new minions for yourself. That's what you get out of this deal. More souls." "You are correct again, my dear boy," Bob replied. "But what does it matter? You all will be rich and famous. You four. Derek, Ricky, Corey, and Stephen will live forever. And you will achieve all your desires, at least for 7 years. To be honest, I had told you what I'd be getting if my plan works out. You had every opportunity to ask more questions. But I believe your response was, 'Uh-huh,'" Bob said mockingly. "You humans are always thinking of yourselves and yourselves only. So why would you care about someone you don't even know?" "Yeah, man, who cares? If those people are stupid enough to listen to that crap and follow him, they deserve it," Derek said aggressively. "What the hell do you think we're doing, Derek?" I replied aggressively as well. "Oh yeah," he said, realizing that I was right. "Boys, there's no need for all this hostility. You all signed the contract, so there's really nothing you can do now." Bob then turned and looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Deal with it." The guys just stared at me, and I wanted, no pun intended, so desperately to tell them about the false signature on my contract. But again, I wanted to see how this was all going to play out. "I will, Bob," I stated, smiling. Bob just looked at me funny. "Can we go now?" Stephen asked, breaking the tension in the air. Bob then stepped back. "Of course," he said, turning his eyes away from me. "But you have to remember what my associate told you. Time works much differently in hell than it does in your world. It's now no longer 1986, like it was when you entered the trees. You spent 45 minutes in there, 35 minutes in my office signing the contract, approximately 13 hours, hell time that is, recording your album, plus the time you spent here in the elevator, equaling to around 15 hours, which is about 1.5 years human world time." "We've been gone for 1.5 years, Ricky asked nervously. "Maybe a little more, but yes," Bob answered. "You said it would only be for a week or so," Stephen said. "I'm sorry, boys," Bob said sarcastically. "I meant hell time, not real world time. But you actually finished earlier than scheduled." "My pops!" Ricky yelled and tried to push past Bob. But Bob grabbed him firmly by the arms and said, "Your daddy is fine. I had my associate keep an eye on him whilst you were gone." "Yeah, man, I'm sure he's all right. We'll check on him together, okay?" I said to Ricky. "Cool, thanks," he responded thankfully. "We'll all go, right guys?" Derek said. Everyone agreed and Ricky stood there smiling. "I would love to join you fellows on your little quest, but I must return and deal with Edgar. I have recently acquired a little shack for all 5 of you to live and practice for the tour, and your gear, the sheet music, and the lyric sheets are already there. Have you heard of the Wilhelm estate?" Bob asked. "Are you serious, dude? That place is huge," Stephen said. "Absolutely, and it's all yours." "I bid you all adieu," Bob said and snapped his fingers, disappearing into a cloud of grey smoke. I hit the open door button on the panel and the doors opened, revealing what appeared to be a bookstore. "Where the hell are we?" Stephen asked. "I don't know, man, but let's get out of here," Derek said. We all stepped out of the elevator, when I looked down and saw the number on my arm now said 1995, when a gentle female voice rang out behind us. "Oh my, where did you boys come from? I didn't see you all come in. Welcome to Millie's bookstore. I'm Millie, and I own the place. Can I help you find something?" We turned around to see an older woman, maybe in her mid-40s, with long, wavy, fire-engine red hair, and she was wearing blue jeans and a white blouse with purple flowers on it. She was quite attractive for an older woman. "No, ma'am, we're just leaving," Stephen said, "but thank you." "Actually, do you have the latest Stephen King book?" I asked, as Derek grabbed my arm and dragged me out of the store. "I'll check back later," I yelled, as I was pulled through the door. Now on the sidewalk, we all just stood there outside what used to be the police station, but now was Millie's bookstore. Bob was right. A lot had changed since we were gone. The police station was now a bookstore. An Exxon gas station convenience store was now on the corner where Pappy's Gas and Go was, and the local roller skating rink was now a used furniture store, among many other changes. We all just looked around in complete awe. It was like a whole different town. After a few minutes, Ricky said, "Okay, so Pop's store is about 3 miles west of here. We should be there in about an hour or so. What time is it?" I asked some random guy walking down the street, so he looked at his watch and told me it was 9:37 a.m. "Thanks," I responded. "Let's go," Ricky said loudly as we all began our 3-mile journey to B&B Music. After about a mile, I said, "You guys go ahead, I'll catch up. I gotta use the bathroom." And I went into the alley between Bob's hardware store and the Last Drop coffee shop. The coffee shop hadn't been there before we left. It was a VCR repair shop back then. But I'll get a copy after I'm done, I thought. I've got $10,000 in my pockets. That would buy a lot of coffee. I went about halfway down the alley, turned to face the wall and handled my business. But just as I was zipping up my pants, I felt a hand in the middle of my back that pushed me into the wall. "Don't move and don't say a word," I heard a familiar voice say, but I couldn't place who it was. "Take my money, take my wallet, take anything you want. Just please don't kill me," I said loudly. "Shut up," the voice yelled. "I'm not going to hurt you or rob you. I just need to make sure that you are who I think you are." "And who do you think I am?" I asked. "Turn around," the voice said. So hesitantly, I did as I was told and turned around to see the unmistakable, unforgettable face of Tony. You remember Tony, right? Our conversation went as follows. "Tony? Exorcism kid? Yeah. Hey kid, it is you." "Yep. Sorry about all the scary robber stuff." "It's okay, but I gotta catch up with my friends." "Not gonna happen, kid. Maybe later. Someone wants to talk to you." "Who? Why?" I said, confused. "You'll find out soon. Come with me." "Where?" "You ask too many questions. Now let's go." Tony then softly grabbed me by the arm and led me to the other end of the alley. We turned left to see a dark blue sedan with tinted windows, parked in a no parking zone, and Tony led me to the back passenger side window and knocked on it. "Put your face in the window," Tony said, pushing down on the back of my head. The window rolled down, and who I saw sitting in the back seat of that car shocked me and confused me at the same time. And all they said was, "Remember me?" Hey, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed my video. And if you did, could you please give me virtual hugs by subscribing and clicking that notifications button. I also have a Patreon page and YouTube channel membership if you'd like to support me further. Thank you again for being here. Keep being creepy.